that the studio I saw that you're building out at your guys' house?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, right now it's just like a one room home studio, but I have
Nice.
we just bought this house and we have a pretty big yard, so I'm thinking of expanding like out here in the back.
Yeah.
I kind of my goal is to kind of like separate the studio from the house. So like if I ever
Yeah.
do want to bring anybody over, almost like a studio slash guest house. Yeah.
So with your studio, are you producing bands or what are you doing?
Um, I'm doing a little bit of both. Like a while back, I was working with like a couple local artists, but um, kind of stayed away from that for a while. Like just a friend from work, I was kind of messing around, and then I do producing work though. Like aside from the band, I'll do it. Like I'll help songwrite or um, add to the production with like certain artists.
Hmm.
So there's a couple artists that I've done like that we've released on a few labels that I've helped. I helped on a Kayzo record for him. Um, did like some guitar and kind of like just some like EDM like production synths and stuff like that.
Awesome, man. That's pretty cool. Well, before we jump into that, kind of just wanted to touch on your roots, man. I mean, we go back. I mean, what, 2004, 2005, growing up in the Coachella Valley and the music scene. It's we got a long time together, a lot of history growing up, playing a lot of shows together.
Definitely a history. Like it's crazy. You say the year, and I'm like, shit, it's been that long.
Yeah. Don't
That's
you feel old? It's almost been 20 years, dude.
yeah, dude. Like sometimes I'm like, it's funny because I was listening to some of our older stuff, like from my like Darkness Awaits days, and
Yep.
I one of my buddies sent me like all the basically our entire everything we've ever done, and I was listening to it in the car, and I was like, geez, I can't believe how old this is. Like, I'm like embarrassed. I'm like, shit, turn it off.
No, that was it was good, man. I mean, it was always fun playing with you guys. I just remember, your band Darkness Awaits. My band at the time was It Involves Murder. It's a ridiculous name, but it was what it was. But I just remember it was either you or us headlining the shows in the Coachella
Yeah.
Valley, and I mean, but back then the scene was massive. I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of people would go to shows, all over the place. It was a magical. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was so much fun, man, and you guys killed it. I just remember Tommy always just shredding. You guys would always tear it up, you guys would bring it down.
Yeah. Those were probably for sure like my best days that I've ever had in music. Like it
Yeah.
was like I feel like you there. I mean, everybody has their scene and stuff, but I feel like with ours, like I don't know, you just had to like be a part of it to understand like how big it was and like how
Mhm.
everybody knew everybody. This shit was yeah, it was crazy.
It was pretty unreal. I mean, you think about. I've recorded a couple of the bands out there now. Some of the younger guys, dare I say, kids, that are up and coming. Benoit, and they're called something else now. Sorry, guys, if I can't remember your name, it'll come to me. But, just guys in their 20s that are now playing shows in the desert and Inland Empire and traveling, playing shows elsewhere. And it's just kind of crazy because they have no idea. I mean, they're little, and we had bands
Yeah.
like Suicide Silence, Impending Doom,
Mm.
Winds of Plague. I mean, just so many bands coming out to the Coachella Valley playing shows with us. It was unreal.
Yeah, that the like Winds of Plague days and all of those days, yeah, it was sick. We'd have all these huge, well, like actually, I wouldn't even say huge, like up and coming, like bands that were just like blowing up at the time, and then I felt like even after that, they passed through our scene. Like they were just boom, like they had signed all these bands like Winds of Plague. And that's
Hmm.
us playing with Winds of Plague or doing a lot of these local shows is like how I ended up meeting Winds of Plague, like becoming cool with those guys back in the day. Like we'd
Hmm.
play so many shows and do like back then I would like hustle. Like I'll tell like TJ and I want to play with Winds of Plague. Like and they're like, well, how are you going to do that? I'm like, just I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna message people on MySpace. I think it was at the time, like promoters,
Yeah.
and they would always come through with antagonists. don't know if you remember that band.
Oh yeah.
Antagonist and Funeral Pyre in El Centro Brawley. And so I would call up the promoter over there, dude, or hit him up and like, hey, like, can Darkness Awaits jump on this? And we played there enough times with, I think, Winds of Plague and Antagonist that they were like, you guys want to go on like a 1 week run with us? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
heck
like
yeah.
they put us on like it was like maybe like 4 or 5 dates, and it was uh El Centro or Brawley, um like 2 Arizona dates, Nevada, and then I think it stopped like at Lake Havasu or something like that. It was, yeah, it was, that was nuts, dude.
It was, man. And I don't remember if you guys played or not, but the what was it called? Castle City? Was that the name of that place in Indio?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
We
I
never
know you
got.
guys played there, but I
I
don't
think we
remember if
played
you
there
guys.
once.
That was it?
I think, yeah. I feel like we never. I want to say we only played there maybe once, dude. Like the Castle City you're talking about, the or like A Day to Remember played, and
Exactly.
yeah, we never really played shows there. And for some reason I remember I don't know why we didn't play shows there. I would go to the shows though. Like I went to almost every show that was there.
I wonder. I know Blackheart Productions would book a lot of the shows. I
Was
think
it
there.
upstairs?
Yeah, upstairs. Yep.
Okay, maybe we did play there then, I think.
You
But
guys
I don't,
definitely played there more than once because I know we played there at least two or three
yeah.
times with you guys. And I was going to ask you, were you guys on that show with the Day to Remember? Because I know we were.
No, we didn't play it. Like
Oh man,
honestly,
I
at that time I didn't even know who they were. I was like, somebody
yeah.
told me, dude, A Day to Remember is coming through. They're sick. And they gave me the CD. One of my buddies gave me the CD, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'll check it out,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I was like, this shit's sick. And then I realized like how big they got like after, and I was like, damn, they came through here, and I was like, whatever about it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't think none of us had any clue who they were. I don't think at that time, maybe a few, but the guitar player, I want to say his name's Kevin, he broke his string and he played my guitar that night. So it's kind of crazy. I remember walking down those stairs and getting my guitar out of the trunk, and it was in drop C, and I think it was in the wrong tuning, so we had to tune it up and go through the whole nine. And yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. So
That's
random.
dope.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
super
random.
rare. I wish I still had that guitar. Eric from Buried in the Woods. I sold it to him, and I tried to buy it back from him about 4 or 5 years ago, and he absolutely refused to sell it back to me. I was bummed.
It's funny because I recently reconnected with that guy. Like I want to say like a month ago. We hadn't talked for years. We just
Yeah.
kind of went separate ways, but we're kind of playing around with the project. But that's funny. I'll try and steal it for you and ship it.
Wait, is he writing? Okay, so I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but is he the one helping you write those deathcore songs?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. See, dude, it's just full circle. I mean, that's so, yeah, that's hilarious. That's a desert for you, right?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
cool. I wonder if he's still playing that guitar. It's a white ESP LCD Viper.
no, he's definitely not playing. He's playing. He got like some cheapy like 7 string for like a few $100. And because I've been telling him, you do try a 7 string, and he's like, I don't know if I want to invest in like a
Hmm.
7 string like that yet. So he got like a cheapie, and he's been playing with it. But his main is, I don't know what it is. It's a black guitar though. I haven't seen the white one.
Okay, you got to
I
ask
know he
him.
has a
I'm
few
sure he
though.
still has it. I think I told him the story with A Day to Remember, and I think that's kind of what solidified him not wanting to get rid of it after all.
Yeah,
I mean, it
maybe.
has cool history, right? I mean, I wouldn't get rid of it. Shoot.
One of his favorite bands too, so I'm sure.
Oh, is it? Okay, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Nope,
Yeah.
he's not getting rid of that thing at all. Mm-mm.
Nah, dude, you're screwed.
Well, with that, I was going to ask you too. I mean, kind of jumping in, I remember the band. So obviously, you're with One Shot Thrill, and me, the whole me talking to people from the desert. I just on the side, I think it's fun and interesting to me, really, to talk about the history because I feel like there's so much history in the desert that people just have no clue about. I mean, you hear about the desert rock scene all the time with
Yeah.
Caius and Unita and Queens of the Stone Age, but man, we had a killer metal hardcore scene out there that
Yeah.
nobody talks about.
It's true. I feel like yeah, it's just crazy how big it was, and it's not talked about enough.
And
Yeah,
so
like
much talent. I mean, so many things came out of it. Your band, Will's band. I mean, there's a guy named JD who's playing with Nina Strauss now. He's her guitar player. I mean, it's just
um,
crazy. There's so much talent from the desert, and you only hear about a certain few.
yeah.
Big bands, of course. Obviously, Queens of the Stone Age, Unita, and all them. Kaya's huge, massive. But I mean, it's still important to me enough to talk about it. I feel.
You know, it'd be kind of sick, like getting like everybody's like footage from their bands and stuff, and like putting together some sort of like, I don't know, like mix of songs or like a little mini documentary or something. Like I
Yeah,
don't know, that'd be pretty sick.
that'd
I
actually be pretty cool.
the thing is like it sucks as big as those shows that we played. I never thought about like record this show. You know, like there's
Mm-hmm.
a few people with like camcorders and stuff like that, or but I felt like, man, if we had the technology then back in the day, like all the footage we would have, like it'd be so sick. Like there's a couple
Dude.
videos on YouTube you can find, but yeah, man, it's like you had to be there to experience it. Like
Yep.
the scene was just alive, especially
It
like
was, man. It was amazing. I mean, that's a great idea. Shoot, I wish if somebody watches this video and they're interested, I'm down to help out any way I can. I just think it's cool to preserve what we had. I mean, to me it was special, and I know to a lot of other people, hundreds of people, it was a pretty special thing. And at those shows, I mean, as you know, we had at least 300 to 400 people at each show, and then some. I mean, it was insane.
yeah, yeah, it was definitely. I mean, like as far as my musical like career, like I always tell people like that's where it started, like just a crazy hardcore metal scene. Like one of the biggest shows that I think I've ever played was one of my first shows. Like even till now, like we've played right before the pandemic ended with OST, we played like a festival with the DJ, like 5,000 people. I was like, this is big.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like still those early shows felt bigger. Like even though there wasn't as many people, like I enjoyed that show like 10,000. Like that's the show I'll remember. It's just
Yeah,
like the energy, man, like people chanting stuff. Like when the first time we play shows and people were like doing gang vocals with like if tomorrow never comes, your guys' band, like just seeing that like was so dope. And I'm like,
dude.
people were singing our songs, like it's crazy.
It was amazing, man. I just remember your guys' shirts you guys sold with your album cover on it, and so many kids wearing them. You'd see them all over town all the time, and we played Southwest Church with you guys a couple times, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, those shows were amazing.
Mhm.
Those were the best shows. I wish that we did not get kicked out of them for all the fights that happened, because that venue, they were so good to us. It was amazing.
Yeah, that venue was sick, dude. Like, yeah, they had the stage, the sound, the lights, everything.
It was amazing, but all the fights and people pooping in urinals, and it was crazy. A bunch of stupid kids. I mean, man, we destroyed that place.
Yeah. I remember
Unfortunately.
we played one of our last shows that we played was our a CD release we had for Darkness Awaits, and I remember they contacted me after and they're like, "You guys can't play here anymore." And I'm like, what happened? They're like,
uh,
they what was our CD release? So they bought the CD, and me like I was always about like branding and stuff with their music, so I had like the lyrics in there, and I remember
mm,
somebody was like, "The lyrics, there's like bad words and stuff like that. Like you guys can't play here
man,
anymore."
that's
I'm like,
crazy. I mean, that of all things. I mean, I remember all the crews, all the tough guys wanting to fight security guards. Like it was just, man, those
yeah,
crews back in the day ruined the music scene. Straight
yeah,
up, they
yeah.
ruined the music scene in the Coachella Valley because they just thought they're too cool, too tough.
Mm. Dude,
They,
I
you know,
remember that for me, that's kind of what killed it. Like I think that's when I think the scene started dying when it was just like crazy. There was like crowd moshing. Kids were afraid to go to shows. And I
Yep.
remember we would play a few shows like towards the end of that like scene. And I remember like our fans weren't like crazy, like they would mosh, they would dance and stuff like that, but they weren't like crowd moshing. And I remember these kids were like getting beat up, and like we started getting like less, people coming to our shows. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and finally, like some of these kids would be like, I don't want to go unless, this crew's there or whatever. And I'm like, I
Yep.
understand, dude. It
It,
sucks.
it sucks, man, because really, I feel like that killed the scene.
I feel
The
the same
tough
way.
kids. Like I mean, it's unfortunate, man, because we had such a good thing, and you couldn't go to a fight with or a show without a fight happening, and it was
Yeah,
always the same freaking people, man. So I was just like,
yeah.
gosh,
And it
but
was like such a weird, like for me, it was such a weird like experience to like deal with that. Like, and it's funny because I was like, I knew some of those guys that were in those crews, like, and it's like, dude, why are you doing that to like our show, bro? Like,
yeah,
and it's just like, and I didn't want to start shit with them, like, so I've
yeah.
always kind of been in the middle with that. But like, yeah, it was just, I feel like for sure that was the downfall of the scene for sure.
It was, and I'm still good friends with some of those guys, and I'm sure they would sit here today and tell me the same thing. I mean, I'm sure they regret it, because we're stupid, we were young, we were kids,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things. You live and you learn. But man, anyhow, you know what I wanted to talk about is, of course, is your project you got going on now. And my question is, because I remember One Shot Thrill.
Yeah.
Uh, I think before you were actually in the band, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember
Way back.
Rob, and he was in the band, and it was called One Shot Thrill, and I think that guy Chase was in it. Am I thinking
Yeah.
of the right band?
Yeah. They were like a screamo band.
Yes, and they had a kid named Travis Dum Dum or something
Yeah.
who played
Travis.
guitar.
It was Travis, Jeremy was on drums, Rob, and then yeah, the Chase guy, and then
Okay.
they had Ruben on vocals.
That's right, dude. So I do have the right band, because I thought that's who that was, but I didn't want to, you know, be wrong on that. But okay, all right. Because I remember seeing them at the Elks Lodge in Cathedral City. They
Yeah,
played
I
there,
remember going to that show. It was like one of their CD releases or
and they
something.
were good, man. I remember they were good. I mean, Ruben screams and all that, but I think Rob still sang clean vocals at that time.
Yeah, he was doing cleans, and um it's funny because that's kind of how we met. Like I was like secretly a fan of theirs, like I was in a metal band and I was like, acting all like, we're tough, like I don't like your band, and shit.
Yeah.
For some reason I had the attitude in the beginning, but and I was like, because I think I was probably listening to like so much heavy shit, and like
Mm-hmm.
some of the guys in the bands would make fun of me. And but then I finally was like, you know what, dude, I'm a fan of these guys. Let's go check out One Shot Thrill. I'm
Yeah.
like, I like screamo stuff. I don't care what you guys say. Like,
Yeah.
all right. So we go to the show, and I was like, they're good. Like I don't know why they're not signed to like Victory Records or one
Yeah.
of those labels. Like they had good quality recorded music. They
Mm-hmm.
they had, I think, the look, everything. I just didn't understand why they didn't get signed. But yeah, like after those shows and stuff like that, I contacted Rob, and that's kind of how we connected. I was like,
Okay.
I want to do heavy music like what we're doing, but with what you're doing. Kind of like A Day to
Yeah.
Remember, I guess, at the time. But and he's like, okay. Like on MySpace, I hit him up, and he's like, yeah, okay, let's get together like this weekend. And literally, probably since that practice, we've been working together since, dude. Like we,
That's a long time, man. I mean, so you guys, what was it? What year would you say that was? That 2011, or was that before then?
that was for sure. We started working together probably like 2008, like right at the end of, no, yeah, 2000, like 2008, 2009, because
Oh
we put
wow.
out our first like EP or demo like 2000, late 2008, I think, on Pure
Okay.
Volume.
So what band was it of yours? I remember. I think it was Here Comes the Chaos, but you guys posted a picture and you all had mask on your face.
That was it. That was Here Comes the Chaos.
Okay. So
So
that band was really good too, though. I remember when you guys dropped that song, I was like, who the heck is this? But I could recognize your vocals on it.
yeah, well, the funny thing was when I met Rob, he was like, that dude was a perfectionist. So he was like, I like to go to the studio and record my songs at like Love Juice Labs or whatever in Riverside. I don't know if you remember that studio.
Oh, dude, I recorded it multiple times
Yeah.
there.
And so yeah, we had recorded, um we actually didn't record there, but I had recorded there a long time ago with like a early project with my brother. So I knew of the place, and I knew the quality of his music. And so I already kind of knew. And he's like, well, if we do this project, we both agreed like we want to fucking make it as perfect as possible, from like
Yeah.
branding to the music, obviously. So we went in. I think programmed drums started becoming like a thing. We programmed a couple of drums on like uh Reason, and then did like a 4 song demo. Went over there and um just knocked out like 4 songs, and it was yeah, it was kind of funny too because the producer there, I think his name was Dave, the owner. He's
Yeah,
like,
Metal Dave.
you're not the first band to do these, like bring these fake drums over here. And I'm like, dude, I think this is what's in. We don't have a drummer. Like it's gonna be popping, you'll know. And he's like, yeah, I did. We did. I just did like I think it was Blessed to Fall, some demo or something. He's like, they use like the program drums, and he's like, well, I'm gonna make sure these sound as real as possible. So he was using some plugin to make it to change like the velocities and stuff like that.
He
But
was
we did
good.
that. Yeah, there was definitely good quality music that came out of that studio. I knew a lot of the local bands would head over there,
Hmm.
and because it was like $400 for like I don't know 2 to 3 song demo or something like that.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
cheap, man. It was cheap. They were quick. I mean, obviously, it wasn't top of the line, top notch quality recordings, but it was definitely good enough.
yeah, yeah,
You know, back then people didn't have recording rigs in their bedrooms or houses like most of us do now. You know, it was a completely different time.
yeah. That's
So, and with that, I mean, you guys, so with One Shot, was that under One Shot throughout that time?
No, that was the 4 songs was Here Comes the Chaos, but it was the first time that me and Rob, it was basically just me and Rob.
Okay.
We just that's the first time we met, first time we started writing together. And then the mask thing, we just thought it would be like funny to just make it mysterious, like who are these guys, but put out a sick ass, well produced song and kind of get attention that way. And that was the idea behind the mask. I
I'd
think I
say
was
it
listening to
worked.
like Hollywood Undead at the time, maybe I don't know what it was, but I was like, we should use mask. And then
Isn't that crazy now? That band is still huge. Hollywood Undead is bigger than ever.
yeah, they are
I mean,
huge for sure.
they got the guy from, remember the band Lorraine Drive? I think they're from
Yeah,
Redlands.
yeah, that's the singer now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I think you and I played with Lorraine Drive at
I
the,
remember.
where's that, Camelot Park?
Yeah, Boomers.
Boomers in Cathedral City. Were you
Yeah,
on that show?
we played there a couple times. I don't know. I don't remember if Lorraine Drive was on
You
there.
guys, yeah, you played
Probably.
that show.
Yeah.
Dude, they were so good. I mean, I still have that CD from Lorraine Drive. It's they put sandpaper paint on the CD. I still have it, man. It's so good.
Do they have their music on like Apple Music or Spotify? I'm gonna have
You
to
can
check that.
find it on YouTube.
Oh,
There is some Lorraine Drive stuff on Spotify as well and Apple Music. Their newer stuff when they were on Crab Records.
mm.
But their first demo, which is called Shh, Don't Say a Word, amazing. So good. You
Yeah, I haven't
can't
heard
find
Lorraine
that.
since.
You,
It's been
you
a
can
while
find that
since.
on YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. The whole EP, demo, whatever is on there. It's like 3 songs. It's
Yeah,
so good.
I'll listen to it for sure. It's been a while. I haven't like I don't even remember what they sound like.
Oh, it's
I'll do
amazing.
that though. Like I'll find there's like old stuff like the other day I was trying to find like Elijah. Remember that band?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so I was like, why don't they have their first album on Apple Music or Spotify? And so I had to go to YouTube to listen to it, and I was like, damn, I missed this.
I
But
think the dude from Ice Nine Kills, Dan Sugarman, I think he was an Elijah.
was he?
I believe so, man. Like he
Oh
has some
wow.
history. Or you know what he was in? I think he was in Fallen Figure.
Oh yeah, I remember that band. They were
Remember
heavy.
that band?
It's like a
Yeah, they used to
deathcore
play
band.
some shows. I think I know for sure that my band played with them in Corona somewhere. It wasn't Showcase, but anyways, yeah, he was in Fallen Figure. Now he's in Ice Nine Kills, killing it. It's crazy,
That's crazy. Ice Nine's big now. Like they're
dude.
huge.
They're huge, man. Their new stuff is so good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I never really got into them into the last 2 CDs, and their newest CD, I can't. I listen to that thing all the time, man. It's so catchy, so catchy.
I've listened to a couple songs, but um I was into like their first album. It was I think it was called Safe is Just a Shadow. And then I kind of stopped listening. And then I saw them like people talking about it again. And I was like, oh dang, listen to the music. They sound crazy, like
Dude,
heavy and they have like a weird like horror movie
yep.
vibe, but it's dope. They definitely have something for sure.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. I got to go see them live. I have to catch it live. But so anyhow, getting back to One Shot Thrill. So you and Rob, you were in Here Comes the Chaos. So what point did you guys decide to start using the band name One Shot Thrill?
Um, so after like a few years of playing with Here Comes the Chaos, um, Rob kind of just like quit the band. I think he moved, I don't know, out of town somewhere. I don't remember where, but he moved maybe Orange County, and um, we wrote a record with Here Comes the Chaos, which is our last one. It was called Guidelines, so EP, and it was a different singer. And then we did like a tour with this band from Utah, and I I was like, I think I'm done like with the band, at that point. Just there was a lot of like differences between writing and I think honestly it was our first tour ever, so I think everybody just like it got to the point where it was like
Mm-hmm.
kind of everybody hated each other. um but I remember at some point halfway in the tour Rob joined.
Hmm.
Like I asked Rob, you want to play with us? Because he always wanted to go on tour, and I was like, dude, it's just we need you anyway, like just hop on. And so he did, and towards the end of that like tour, closer to the like we did like a home show date or something like that. It was like the week before we were in like Utah or something like that. And I told him, I'm like, I'm going crazy, dude. I think we need to just start another project. And we kind of started writing while we were on tour. We wrote
Hmm.
um our first single, which was called The Letdown. And we wrote it for Here Comes the Chaos. And um they just weren't feeling it. So I was like, all right, I understand, whatever. Kind of just set the song aside, finished the tour. Um, and then after that, me and Rob just like, let's start writing again, dude. We'll do we'll launch a new project again, but we'll do it like not so many chefs in the kitchen, just me and him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took that approach. And with One Shot Thrill, like using that name again, it's just funny because I was like, we couldn't think of a band name. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I always thought One Shot Thrill was a good name. Like, was that like your band that's like your baby, right? So like maybe we could just use One Shot Thrill again. And he's like, yeah, let's just use it. He's like, I don't care. So
And that's a
that's where,
Godzilla reference, right?
yeah, that's basically how it happened. Like literally, I was just like, let's use One Shot Thrill. It's a really cool name. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it could be a big name. Um, and then we just started writing again. Wrote The Letdown, and we got Andy Leo from Crown the Empire on that one. And that's kind of where that project, I guess, took off.
So how did that get arranged? I mean, that was pretty cool when you guys filmed that video. You had him singing as a guest vocalist, and that song was actually really good. I re-listened to it before speaking with you here. And the video, I mean, you got Tyler on Taveros on drums. You know, for those who don't know, he's a really good drummer from the Coachella Valley. He's played in many bands. A few other people I didn't recognize, but the song's pretty dang good. I liked it.
Yeah, we had Tyler in the band. Uh, Great drummer for sure. We haven't talked. We had our falling out back then, but I'm like older now. I don't care.
We
Like
were kids, man.
yeah, yeah. So, but I don't know. Do you still talk to him? Is he playing? Is he still playing?
Yeah, he is. I talked to him here and now. I recorded his band, one of his older bands, about 2 years ago. Gosh, forgive me, guys. I can't remember the name. My head is just everywhere right now. But yes, I recorded his band from Joshua Tree not too long ago, and now he's in a new band called Cutlass, and they're actually really good. It's heavy. He's got some guys. One guy was in his previous band, um, and from Joshua Tree, and then now I think the other guys are from like the IE Inland Empire area, and they're playing shows. Man, they were just playing in Fontana the other nights. They just played Showcase a couple nights before in Corona. But yeah, you should check them out. They're actually doing really well. The songs sound great. Whoever recorded them killed it. Sounds really good.
Sick. I have to check it out. Yeah, he was always a solid drummer for
Yeah.
sure. You could give him the a demo to a song and be like, dude, learn this like by tomorrow.
Oops. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, some music started playing here in my background without me doing nothing here. But yeah, he's solid, man. I played in a band with them. We tried to start something up
Yeah.
prior to that, but it didn't work out because my timing. I was working for the fire department. I just didn't have the time, unfortunately. But yeah, he's solid.
Yeah. Now, a lot of the guys that I played with back in the day, like I haven't really talked to. Like I mean, I talked to, I recently reconnected with Eric, um, but yeah, I feel like I kind of took a break from that scene of music for a while, and there was so much drama, at least with my bands back then, that I was like, and I was dealing with personal stuff too, so it was like so much that I was like, yeah, take a
Yeah.
break from like metal music and stuff like that, and then um yeah, we kind of I started focusing back onto One Shot Thrill, but yeah, we did. I have to send it to you, dude. We have an EP that we never released that's so sick. Like it's probably
Hmm.
some of the best music we've ever written.
Really?
But it was good. It had the Letdown on there. We had a song with Chad Rulig from For the Fallen Dreams. Um,
Wow, that's awesome.
God, and then Kia from a band called Conquer Divide. They're like a
How
few
come you
features
guys
on it.
never released it?
We like we had worked on it so long that like our sound changed dramatically. That's like when
Mm.
when we were like ready to release it, it had already been maybe a year, 2 years that we had been working on it. And we were working with this producer from Germany, going back and forth. And me and him were probably a bad thing for it because we're both perfectionists and like the thing never came out. Like, and Rob too. Rob was really bad. We're like, we can't release this unless it's perfect. And literally like it had been like a year, 2 years without releasing anything after I think the letdown or whatever. But yeah, dude, it's straight up heavy. Like it's I feel like even if we released it now, it would still hold up because like we were throwing in like the new metal with the metalcore stuff sound at the time. But we by the time we finished it, we started going to like electronic music.
Okay. Yeah, you should, man. That'd be cool. I'm sure people would totally dig that, especially now. It's like heavy music is back
Yeah.
in. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I've kind of like why I started this new like passion project with Eric is just I miss heavy music, dude. Like I miss the
Yeah.
old stuff and like I'm doing all this stuff with OST now and it's fun, but like with the music industry, I'm like you have to wait. Like you can have these songs done and it's like I hate it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I'm tired of waiting, so I feel like I need to, have fun with this project. I'm not going to do anything crazy. It's literally for fun and maybe I'll play a few local shows just to keep the like the juices flowing. Like yeah, I feel
You
like,
should, man. Absolutely.
and it's funny because I like with later in my like at least my current career now, I feel like I'm the best vocalist I feel like I've ever been as far as like my voice vocally trained. Like I know exactly how to do a high, a low without like just the tone of the voice the way I want. I feel like,
Hmm.
and it's like I feel like I scream better than I've ever did. I hated the way I sounded in my old Darkness Waits. I absolutely hated it, and now I feel like I can do it better. So I'm like, I don't scream in any. I can scream better now, but I don't scream in any of my newer songs. They're more like pop driven. So
Hmm.
I'm like, I need to start something heavy again. And
I heard the clip that you shared on the Facebook, and it sounded awesome. I mean, it definitely somebody mentioned in their suicide silence, and I totally hear that. But I love it. Sounds good.
it's yeah, it's a couple friends on there. Yeah, I saw that, like Mondo and Justin. But I had posted a clip a while back before that too, and someone else said the same thing. But that's what we're going for. Like I'm just playing around, like doing Suicide Silence kind of vibes, like that 2008, deathcore era. But I want to put like a modern twist. I don't want to go full like 2008. So I'm kind of throwing in like some new metal stuff in there, but new metal
Nice.
deathcore.
Yeah, I got to hear this when it's done.
Yeah, we're just gonna do like a 3-song EP, just like something
Okay.
simple, and then I'm gonna like make sure it sounds like legit, and then I'll probably have my friend Chris Crummett master it, and then just throw it out there and see what happens with it. But I'll send it to you as soon as like we're done. Even like the demos, you can hear them. I'd love to
Oh
get
yeah.
your feedback since you're, a fan of that music for sure.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, well, jumping up to that Chris Crummett, man. I mean, when you guys went to go record with him, I was like, what? Because obviously I record as a hobby. I wish
Yeah.
I could do it full time, but maybe one day. But when you guys mentioned you're going to him, I was like, that's amazing. And the stuff that he did, that's actually my favorite EP you guys have put out. The one, it's a self title,
Okay.
right? The One Shot
Yeah,
Thrill
yeah,
self title.
yeah.
So good, dude. How did that get lined up?
Um, he's been one of my favorite producers. Like he's someone I've always kind of looked up to as far as he's produced like some of my favorite bands. And um I was always just kind of like I would he had we had like like a production group. It was like a secret group at the time that certain people were invited to. And the guy that I was working with from Germany on the we call it Life Lessons EP, but with the letdown and all that stuff, that
Mm-hmm.
EP I was telling you about, he was in that secret group, and it had like Chris Crummett, Putney, like
Oh,
just
amazing.
everybody.
Love it.
And I was like, dude, I want to learn, like I want to get better, like get me in that like secret Facebook group. And my buddy from Germany got me in there, and then I was like, I'm gonna see if these guys will master our music. And so the letdown, and I think the song called My Start Your End, I had Will Putney master. So he mastered those two songs that you hear on YouTube. And then
Wow, I had no idea. That's so cool,
yeah,
man.
I had
Huh.
him do it. And then like there was a few like songs that we did where we started fusing like the EDM sound. And then I would talk to Chris and they're asking questions, and then we kind of knew each other enough to where I can just be like, hey, are you interested in mastering these songs that I have coming out? He's like, yeah, and he was such a cool guy, dude. Like that guy, he is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Chris Crummett, if you ever talk to him, like it's just crazy how genuinely nice that guy is. Like I would send him a mix, and most producers are for the easy buck, they'll just master it, send it back, and take the money. But like he would be like, hey dude, the snare's too loud here, turn it down, like kind of like help me like fix the song up
Hmm.
instead of take the easy route. And so we would go back and forth and until my mix was good enough, and then he would master it. And then after that I was like, we need to work with this guy. Like one of my things that I absolutely hate is recording myself. Like I just
Hmm.
don't like recording my own bands. Like it's just I rather focus on the creative.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, doing the back end stuff, the engineering, it's work, no
Yeah,
doubt. And it could distract you from the creative process for sure.
yeah, it's terrible. You should see me when I'm like recording it. I go press play and then oh my god, doing my own vocals.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh man, I can imagine. Yeah, that's got to be tough. So are you recording everything yourself, mixing it and just sending off for masters? Is that how you
The
guys usually work?
the last everything besides the Chris Crummett stuff I've produced.
Hmm.
Even with that I've helped produce over there. But yeah, I'll everything that I've ever done though, I always have him master. Like I know I should try different places, but he uses like analog equipment. Like it just has a warm, like
Yeah.
is a really good sound. His mastering is probably like some of the best.
I mean, and just for those who don't know who Chris Crummett is, what has he done? Dance Gavin Dance, Issues, Slaves. I mean, so many bands.
Yeah, he's done like probably almost every Dance Gavin Dance record, except maybe one. And then Issues, Crown the Empire. But yeah, he's done a lot of those.
Is he
those
still? He's in Portland, Oregon, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah. When
Okay,
we
cool.
when we recorded with him, he was building his. We were at his new studio, and it was like still under construction. Like his studio was done, but like he didn't have his couch there, things like
Hmm.
that. But yeah, he made it all out of like brick. It's a really nice studio.
And that was in about 2018. I read
Yeah,
approximately timeline.
yeah. It was like
Okay.
2018, I believe.
And I mean, prior to 2018, One Shot Thrill. At some point, you guys changed the name to OST. Is that an official change?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you can still search One Shot Thrill and listen to old stuff, but um we basically connected with the manager. We have a manager managing us now. And once he started working with us, he was like, you guys have so much history, like back then, like, there's photos with different members and this and
Mm-hmm.
that. And um, he's like, I feel like we need to do a refresh, like a rebrand. And I've always felt the same way. I feel like either we change the name or rebrand. And I was like, maybe we should just change the name. And he's like, no, like you could still carry some of your fan base there, but like we just gotta like rebrand, do it a smart way. So that's kind of where that started, at least OST with our new team and management.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're right. I mean, if you Google your band One Shot Thrill, like you said, different members, different pictures, and then if you go, for instance, into Spotify, which is what I use, you can search One Shot Thrill, and there's a whole set of songs, and then you search OST, and there's a whole separate set of songs. So yeah, that
Nope.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the only thing that I honestly regret about the name is like at first when we first put on music under OST, you couldn't find us like because
Hmm.
of original soundtrack or whatever.
Okay.
So, but now that we have like more, streams, we're at closer to the top of the search, so it's easier to find us now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, talking about streams, shoot, I'll just jump right into it. I mean, I was looking at one of your Spotify's on OST, one of your songs, and that song with the DJ, is it Kayzo?
Kayzo, yeah.
The song Liar?
Mm. Oh
Five
yeah,
million streams? Crazy,
they sent
dude.
me a hat not too long ago.
That's amazing. So, tell me about this. How did that whole thing get set up?
Dude, like I have like this like secret love for EDM music. So when we did the EDM sound, I knew a lot of the DJs, like the up and coming DJs, and I was obsessed with wanting to like mix EDM and metal. So Kayzo was up and coming, and he was kind of getting into that sound. So I was like, I want to work with that guy. He's like one of
Hmm.
my favorite DJs. I need to work with them. Hit up, sent an email to a lot of people don't know this story, but this is kind of the story of how it went down. But I want to say maybe it's been like 5 years ago. I sent an email to a guy named John, who was Kayzo's manager, and I had said, we're fusing EDM and metal, similar, like kind of like your artist Kayzo. Would you be interested in managing us? And he responded. Actually, he didn't respond. I think a month later, I followed up and I was like, did you get a chance to check out the music? Didn't respond. Then, like 6 months later, he randomly emails me and he's like, is this project still alive?
Huh.
And I'm like, yeah, like, we're still going. He's like, um, there's something about your music that's missing. Like, it needs to sound bigger or whatever. You guys should do like a, um, kind of give like advice on like the direction of where music's going. He's like, if you can nail, you know, this sound with this branding, kind of gave me some advice. And then I was like, okay. So then I was like, if I got this guy's attention, maybe we should do it right. And then that's when I hit up Chris Crumman. I was like, we got to go to the studio. I want to record legit stuff and do music video. And I sent it to him maybe like a couple years after. It took a while. And then he remembered me. He remembered me like that crazy guy that would email him all the time. And at that time, I didn't approach him to manage us because I was like, he's just gonna say no. Like he's doing DJ stuff. And Kayzo was really big at the time, so I was like, here's our new music. Would Kayzo be interested in remixing or collaborating with us? And then he responded and was like, no, not with Kayzo, but I have another artist that you can work with, that another DJ I managed that would be a sick collab. And I was a fan of the other DJ too. Um, so we sent our music to that guy. We started working on a song.
What's that guy's name? I was looking at it and I couldn't pronounce it quite right.
Um,
The
Scalism.
DJ. Yes, that's it.
So the funny thing is it was a different DJ. I don't want to say his name because it didn't work out, but
Okay.
um, yeah, we started working with this guy, and he it just the song was felt like it was never going to come out. It's been like almost a year
Hmm.
we're working on it, and so I was like fed up, and so I pulled the song, and there was another DJ that I had followed too, named Scalism, and they had a song with Little John called "In the Pit." That was like their biggest song. And it was like a big song at the time.
Hmm.
So I hit them up, and I was like, I have this acapella ready. Like, you want to check it out? It's called Invincible. And he was like, yeah, let me hear it. Literally like a day or two later, the guy sends me like a mix back. He's like, dude, I already finished the song. And I'm like, dude, you already wrote to that acapella. Like, it was insane how quick it was. And after that, just kind of kicked it off, became really, really good friends, and we released an EP together on um, Kayzo's label.
It's a
So
Goodbye Records, I think it was called.
Welcome Records.
Welcome Records. Sorry.
So yeah, the funny thing now is like, I think since my first email with his manager 5 years ago, I think it was like every 2 years I would contact him. And then finally after the EP, um, I think it was another year or two, I was like, I have this music with Scalism. We sent it to them and he was like, okay, this is sick. How about we sign it to Kayzo's label? And I was like, oh shit, okay. So I was like, dope. I'm down to sign with my favorite DJ's label. So of
Hmm.
course. So we released like a 3-song EP, me and Scalism, or OST and Scalism, and kind of at that point, I think I started my relationship with like Welcome Records team, and then Kayzo's manager. I would talk to him more frequently,
Hmm.
um, and then he just kind of, I think, started paying attention to us more. And one day I sent a demo of a new song we're working on, and then he was like, I think you guys are ready. I want to send you like 10 instrumentals or 10, instrumental tracks from Kayzo, see if you can write to them. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh shit. And he's like, this isn't a for sure Kayzo collab. Like, we've sent these songs out to other artists. So I don't know if he was just trying to get in my head, but he's like, we sent this to like a ton of other artists. So I'm not saying you got the gig, but you know. So I was like, Rob, we got to hustle. I told John, which is Kayzo's manager, I said, hey, dude, like, we like this song. And I had heard it before because he was playing it live, but with Bring Me the Horizon vocals. I think originally it was
Hmm.
supposed to be a Bring Me the Horizon official remix or
Oh
collab.
wow.
And I was like, why is this song here? And so he's like, that whatever, I guess it didn't work out, or I'm not sure what happened, but he's like, the instrumental's available. So we basically hustle, we record the song, we turn the demo in like maybe 3 days, and like they were blown away. They're like, this is a song. And then his manager put us in a group text with Kayzo, um, me, Rob, Kayzo, and then John, the manager. And then just going back and forth like for a week or two online. And that's when the pandemic hit like really hard. So we could have driven to like LA, but we were like, we could just do it, send stems and stuff back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we worked every day, all day and night, dude. I feel like there was like, I didn't sleep for maybe 2 or 3 days, dude. Like, I was just like, I gotta get this. This is like a huge opportunity.
It's huge.
And so yeah, we locked it in, and he's like, we're gonna release it. And we finished it in April, I think. And then we released it in October. And my
Okay.
wife was
Oh.
like super pregnant at the time. It was such a like, it's funny because if you ever talk to her and you ask her what song she hates that song. She's like, I would hear that thing over and over, like, and she's like, not just the whole song, just like a 15-second clip of you trying to fix something for hours. And
Mm.
she's like, I can't stand that song, even though I know it's a good song.
Yep, that's what happens. You're around it, it's just yeah. Yep. I know what you mean, man. Definitely. Working on music in the house, same thing. I get it
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, so I saw a couple videos that you guys would share on your Instagram, or I think it might have been on your Facebook too, but of Kayzo actually playing the song live, and there's like thousands of people, and just you can hear Rob singing, you. I mean, it's crazy.
yeah, it's nuts. It was like definitely like it was unreal to see that, to be honest. Like, just weird feeling at first. It's like that whole process was just like such a weird moment for me. Like, definitely amazing, but
Yeah.
it's almost like I can't believe that that happened. I worked with my favorite DJ who did the
Yeah.
song, and then he played it. I think he played it first time was in Taiwan. It was one of the first festivals back during the pandemic. It was
Hmm.
like 20,000 people, and I remember it was late, and they were live streaming it on on YouTube or the Insomniac's website. And so I was like, I'm gonna stay up. It was late. I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning our time or something like that.
Hmm.
And I remember me and my wife were watching it. We both kind of fell asleep. I dozed off. And then I heard the song playing. Like I was half asleep. I heard the song playing. I woke up and I was like, holy crap. Like he's playing the song in front of like all those people. And then I was
Uh,
like, oh my God, I got to screen record this. Um, but yeah, that was a crazy, crazy moment for sure. And then it ended up being one of his biggest songs.
yeah.
It's insane.
That's crazy, man. It's pretty cool, like full circle. We're talking about early days, obviously in less than an hour trying to summarize your work of 10 years, but doing our best. But I mean just talking about where it started, where it's at now, and then, moving forward, it's pretty cool to see it all come, and watch.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy to like think back. Like now I'm like so like kind of I feel like I'm kind of deep in that industry. Um and sometimes like I'll forget like, oh man, like I did a song with Kayzo or um we just oh shoot, I don't even know if I can say this. I'll say it. We just finished up another song with Kayzo
Okay.
for his album. Hopefully our
Nice.
manager doesn't get mad at me, but
Well, let me know, and I can trim this up
nah,
before.
he's already he posted it on his like a clip of it, but it doesn't say what artist. But I
Okay.
think there's people figuring it out because there's people in comments like that's OST or and some people think it's Crown the Empire for some reason.
Hmm.
But yeah, we're doing another song with him, and I'm stoked because he has some pretty big names on that album. He's got he did a song with just recently with Papa Roach, which is sick.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Did a song called Domination with them. So
I
if
think
I'm
I've
like,
heard that song. I subscribe to XM Radio. I think it might be on there.
yeah, it's I think it's been on rotation for sure. Yeah,
Huh. Dude, that's crazy,
Domination.
man.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that's yeah,
you guys, I saw you guys had a new song you just put out recently called "Look at Me."
mm-hmm.
It's kind of a different sound.
It's like a
I
pop punkish kind of
exactly,
yeah.
which is
It
cool. I mean, I totally dig it.
yeah, we Rob, you know, has those roots, so
Hmm.
I was like, let's change it up. You know, kids are liking pop punk again. I was like, we'll just do it it's what we did before, you know. So
Yeah,
it's like we'll try it out. But yeah, it's a couple of the new songs have like pop punk screamo vibes, I guess.
yeah. That's cool though, man. I mean, it's nice to be able to switch it up. You guys are not in a box. You know what I mean? You can really go any direction at this point.
Yeah,
And it is what it is. That's awesome.
that's probably like the cool thing about just it being really me and Rob is that we can just sound like whatever we want, and we're like very open with genres of music. Like, let's blend in, take in some pop punk, let's take in some, you know, metal or whatever, and we're cool with it. So I think that's
Are
why
you
we
guys filming a video for that song too?
look at me. We released a video for it.
Okay.
It's on
I haven't seen that yet then.
if you go to Kayzo's music channel, it was released on his channel.
Oh, okay.
So
Is it
if
on
you
YouTube as well or just on his
yeah
channel?
yeah it's on YouTube. So go to
Okay.
on his it's on his channel on YouTube.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, if you search, I think like Kayzo Look at Me or um Welcome Records Look at Me, it should pop up. But
So
yeah,
are
we
you
did.
guys signed then?
Yeah, so everything we've done since Liar, we released under Welcome Records. So
Okay.
we're not like on a, you know, like some of the older record deals back then. It's like a 3-year contract or whatever, so many albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's technically like an EDM label, so they like to sign singles. So we've just been, which is I like because I don't want to be stuck. So
Yeah.
we release each single or EP, whatever it is. But yeah, we've been releasing with them, so we're not stuck to them, but we have a good relationship with them, I guess.
I mean, that sounds like a perfect situation, honestly. I mean, if you're releasing singles with no like indefinite 3-year contract type of situation
Yeah,
you hear about, that sounds awesome.
yeah, yeah. That's been the best thing about it, because even like a few years back, we got screwed over with just a management company, not even a label, a manager
Huh.
that basically didn't let us write music for like 2 years.
Wow.
We
That's
signed a
crazy,
really
man.
bad contract. Like it was so bad. Like I don't even know why we signed it.
And was that under OST at that time?
It was One Shot Thrill. Yeah, it was when we
Okay.
released the EP that we did with Chris Crummett. Like that EP
Oh.
got released 2 years after it was recorded, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 years. Yeah, so
Huh.
it was bad, bad deal. It was like something stupid where he owned everything that we wrote in those 2 years. He owned a percentage of it forever or something like that. And so I was like, well, we just won't write music for 2 years. Like, and I
Yeah.
was like, I need a break from this crap anyway. So we kind of did that, started rebranding again, already planning our next steps. Um, but yeah, that was a shitty deal. So now I'm definitely like more well aware and, you know, definitely read the contracts and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I bet, man. I mean, the few friends that I have that have been signed or had management deals, I mean, you hear all the time about the nightmare stories, but hearing it, firsthand from people and friends I know, it's crazy. It hits close to home with a few different people that I've met. I mean, I have a friend who was in a band, and I think it was 3 or 4 album contract, and they were so done with the label after I think the third. They said,
Mhm.
"Forget this. I mean, we're breaking up, and we're going to release that fourth album under a different band name," and that's what they ended up doing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's like the common story that you hear from like anybody that's worked with the label at least once. It's a the sad story of wanting to get signed. And when you're younger and it's like it's your dream. I want to get signed. I want to get signed. I want to
Exactly.
get signed.
Yep.
Then it happens, and I think that's the thing people don't realize is like it it's really tough, first of all, to get signed. But then when you even if you do, it's like it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
like you're rich, you're and then if you tour life is not what you think it is either. It's just
Right.
you have to have a really, really like you have to be a certain type of person to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a tough industry for sure.
Yeah, and you got to really love what you're doing too, because I mean, you're
Yeah.
getting beat up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. How many years now are you in it? Over what? Gosh, we're going on 20 years. I think we're saying at the beginning of
I
this that we've been
yeah.
doing music roughly.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
feel like I
crazy.
haven't stopped since, dude. It's like everybody knows, like if if you love it, you're never gonna quit doing it. And I've always had that like mentality, like I why quit now if I know I'm gonna jump back into it and later. So I've literally been obsessed with music, and I can't stop. I think it's like a tick.
It
But
is. I mean, look at me. I'm doing this, and I'm also recording and mixing bands on the side, and it's just I can't let it go. I can't. I
yeah,
never will. You know what I mean? Like it's just a part of you.
yeah, it
So,
is. I mean, even if I'm not working on like my own stuff, like I enjoy, you know, mixing other people's stuff or, doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I truly love music, and that's why I'm here.
yeah, heck yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, with that, what's next for you guys?
Um, well, I hurt myself, so I just had surgery, kind of put a
Oh,
pause on things. Yeah, I tore my Achilles playing
yikes.
basketball.
Oh,
And
jeez.
yeah, it sucks, dude. I can't do anything.
Uh,
So for the past since January, I was like stuck, and we were trying to finish up our second single, and um, we just finished up a second song with Kayzo, and then right after that, I got hurt, and I just didn't want to get up to write music. So, but past few weeks, I've jumped back into it. We just finished another song for OST, and then I've been doing the deathcore stuff for fun. But probably finish up a new single and then maybe a music video and then release it on Welcome. Um, yeah, I kind of just releasing singles at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
I know like friends and certain, fans of like One Shot Thrill want like an EP or album. We always release singles, but OST is technically like a new band, so it's like we'll start with some singles and see how it grabs people. I still
I
like
mean,
we're still finding our sound too, so like I don't know.
yeah. I would say the relaunch is killing it. I mean, look at what you've done so far since you have relaunched, and the sound that you guys are putting out, the songs and the sound that you have now, it just feels refined. Definitely, I definitely would say it sounds refined. It sounds really good. It's catchy. I mean, I think it was a smart move, and it's exciting to see where it's going.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Stoked. I feel like it's been doing it a long time, but I feel like it's a fresh start for me. Like I'm stoked on the future for it.
Good. Yeah,
I'll
me
send you
too,
some
man.
stuff too. Like I'll send you like some like demos and stuff if you want to check it out. Definitely the
Oh
deathcore
yeah.
stuff. I'm sure you'll enjoy
Oh, you got to
that.
definitely send me that. Absolutely. Yes, please.
But
So, anyhow, well, I appreciate it, man. I'm not going to take too much more of your time. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me tonight. And what do you got to say to the people?
um thank you for listening to my music. If you listen to it, big shout out to the Coachella Valley hardcore scene. If you're still there, people that are still hit up Steven. Get some people need to know the history, man.
That's
I,
right.
and yeah, check out my band OST if you haven't. Check out Critical Art Studio.
All right. There we go. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Good night,
All
dude.
right, bud. See you, man.